name is Charles Preston. I'm the Service Manager for Global Ground Support. I'd like to welcome you to another video. In this video, we're going to cover the PQ board adjustments and troubleshooting. The PQ board works in conjunction with the joystick. The PQ board, in our first video, we discussed how the output of the board goes to the joystick and the signal back from the joystick to the PQ board. But on the other side, the PQ board goes to the boom control valve. So we're going to cover adjustments and troubleshooting of the PQ board. The first thing that you want to do is familiarize yourself with the PQ board. On the PQ board, it's marked VS, which stands for voltage supply. Next terminal down would be ground. This would be the system ground. Next terminal down is PWA, aux A, PWB, aux B, and COM, high ENA, swamp, PT plus, signal, PT minus, and then you have your low A, low B, high A, high B, ramp, and frequency. Your VS and ground, you would measure between these two terminals. You would have your system voltage, which should be 12 plus volts. PWA is output from the board to the boom control valve. Aux A is not used. PWB would be the output from the board to the valve for the opposite direction of that boom function. For example, fly, PWA would be fly out, PWB would be fly in. Then your PT plus and PT minus a signal, these are the outputs to the joystick like we covered in the joystick video. Your low A, low B, high A, and high B, when you do your adjustments on your PQ board, basically what you're trying to do is create a window of operation. The low would be when the function just tries to move. Typically this is around 600 to 800 milliamps. High A and high B would be your maximum speed. For example, topping up and topping down, it takes approximately 45 seconds for the full travel of the cylinder. This is where you would adjust your speed for that 45 seconds. And we'll cover that a little bit later in this video and how to set your meter up for that. Now I've turned the aux engine power in the on position. This has powered up the PQ boards. I'll take my meter. Meter is set up to read standard 12 volts. Taking my test leads, going between the VS and ground on the board. Our system voltage is 11.89, so our battery is just a touch on the low side. And it doesn't matter which board you go to, it should be the same. The VS and ground on the boards are all daisy chained together. Now for our next adjustment or troubleshooting, we're going to go to the outputs, PWA and PWB. This particular board is the newer style board. And this particular board is also a 0 to 5 volts. Now if you look on the back side of your connector, you have your plug, and on your plug is your screws that hold your wires in place. Now what I'm going to do is remove one of the wires. In this particular case, it's going to be PWA. Keep in mind, this is the output wire to the boom control valve. So with that wire removed, I'm going to plug the connector back in. We'll take our meter again. One side of the meter, I'm going to use a clip. Back up here, we're going to read continuity first. So we'll set our meter back up to read continuity. To test it, it's reading continuity. Now what we're going to do in a very simple step, here again, remember we're measuring continuity. This is the output wire to your coil on your boom control valve. These 5 terminals here are the grounds for those coils on the boom control valve. So we'll take the other side, connect it to ground. Now in one simple step, you have measured the continuity from the board to the boom control valve, from the boom control valve back to the ground. And you've also measured the ohms resistance across your coil. With that being done, now we're going to measure the output of the board. We'll set our meter to measure milliamps. Connect my meter up to the output wire to the coil. Put this on the PWB side. I'm going to tighten it up here so I don't have to hold it all the time. Now we're measuring the output of the board to the coil. We have Brett up in the basket operating the joystick for us while we continue with our video. Now you can see that we're hooked up to the fly board. PWA is one side of the meter. We're measuring amps. Common side is the output wire going to the boom control valve coil for the fly function. Now you remember I said we're creating a window of operation. Now we're going to cover how to adjust that window and what you would see when you adjust that window. Now first I'm going to go to the PWA because that's what we're going to work with. I'm going to go to the high function. I'm going to remember this number of 345 because that's what the boom is currently set to. Now, as you adjust the potentiometer for the high function, as you can see, I'm turning it counterclockwise and my number is going down. Now I get to a certain point, it's going to stop adjusting. Okay, I am adjusting the high A. Now that you can see that the low side is set at 164. If I wanted to bring that low setting up, I would simply go to the low A. Now as you can see, as I'm adjusting, it's going down. And I'm going to bring it back up to 164 where it was set at. Now I'll go back to my high and set my high where it was at. And that's how you create your window of operation for your boom function. Now, each function has a given time of operation. For example, your fly is 20 seconds for fly up and 20 seconds for fly down. Your boom extension is 15 seconds for extend in and out. Your boom lift is 45 seconds from topping up and 45 seconds for topping down. Your boom swing is 45 seconds for a 90-degree rotation. Now for basket leveling, you would adjust your basket leveling so the basket stays within a 5-degree angle for the full rotation or the full articulation of the fly function and for the topping function. This concludes our video on the PQ board adjustments and troubleshooting. Thank you.